Guess what it says?
What's it say?
It says we're live.
Live.
Yes. So how are you, sir? Did you have a good week this week?
We had a week. But it's all for seeing the smell some salt, hear some waves. It's coming. We're spending a night away.
Yeah.
It's for something this week.
I've had a bunch of Mondays this week. My work week has been a bunch of Mondays.
Yes.
But overall, I think that hey, we got through it. And we're getting through it. We've got for me, I've got 2 days left in this week, and then we get to hit the reset button and
Nice.
do it all again next week. So this week we are talking about really, as much as I love to say it, this is one of my favorites. But before we do that, let's
bring us in.
Let's bring us in. All right, hold on, everybody. Here we go with the intro. Go.
Tune in, turn down the lights. It's time for Thursday Night Frights. We're here to be your guide through horror, thrills, and schlocky slides. Thursday night, feel the scare. Horror talk beyond compare. They'll roast, they'll toast, they'll recommend what's creepy, what's scary, they horror friends. From slashers to ghosts, they've seen it all. Monsters and mayhem, they'll make the call. Is it a scream or a total flop? They'll tell you what's hot and what's pure schlock. Thursday night, feel the scare. Horror talk beyond compare. They'll roast, they'll toast, they'll recommend what's creepy, what's campy, they horror friends. We lift a drink and toast to you. The talking dead know what to do. With laughs and chills, they'll set the tone. Thursday nights, you're welcome home. So join the fright, don't miss the show. Alan and Chris are here, ready to go. They'll roast, they'll toast, they'll recommend what's creepy, what's campy, they horror friends. Thursday night, feel the scare. Horror talk beyond.
I love it. I hope everyone
Yes.
enjoys that. That is so much fun. It was so much fun putting together, writing the song and getting it all put together. It was a good time. I enjoy
I
it.
love it.
Um,
Right down to Skeleton Tom at the end.
yes.
You know, for the laugh. Beautiful thing.
And I had to figure out a way to work that laugh in because, we've had that laugh in every one of our intros since the beginning of time, it feels like. So
Yes.
I had to get that in there. And I also had to pay a little bit of a tribute to LG there with the Talking Dead, and
She still might be wrong.
she might be, but she's still proclaiming that Sharknado is the number one. So
No, she started moving on to watch number 2, and maybe.
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 Hello, Elizabeth. I am so glad that you are here with us tonight. Hopefully, you didn't miss the intro. That's something that we're kind of proud of showing that at this point. So, anyway, tonight we're talking about a classic from 1985. This is one of those horror movies that if you were lucky enough to see it early on when you were, a teenager, as I was, man, it stuck with me for life. I had seen this movie more times than I could count, and I totally let it fall off my radar, unfortunately.
Right.
And then watching it again for the show tonight, it just brought back all those happy feelings, and so we're talking about 1985's Fright Night.
Fright Night.
not
It's in the golden era of 80s horror.
yes, and not the best vampire movie from the 80s, but it definitely in the top 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not the
Um,
worst by far.
no, it's no, I mean it's on the same playing field as Near Dawn and the Lost Boys. It's on the it really is. Even though Near Dawn is or Near Dark, excuse me, a lot darker than either
Yeah.
one of those two. But as
Yeah.
far as like capturing that, I tell you what this movie did for me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what this movie
Okay.
did for me is I fell in love with Hammer horror early on. We've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
And my brother was really responsible for introducing me to the Hammer films and this movie when I watched it in the 80s really felt like it encapsulated the spirit of those gothic Hammer vampire films in a modern era of the 80s. And for me, it was modern because I was a teenager in the 80s and when I saw this. So I mean, I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing that suit and I'm seeing those clothes and I'm seeing all that stuff that reminds me of people that I knew and things that I grew up with. So
just the costuming alone in here, like whatever, even down to like we're going to the nightclub and we got the vibrant colors and the popped collars and
the shoulder pads.
I mean, that's what dates this. You're like, I remember that, and some people are like, remember what? And you're like, oh yeah,
you weren't there, were you?
I wasn't a teenager in the 80s, but I was definitely in double digits. So, yeah, this one, it's one of those movies that stuck with me because it hits you with lore from the vampire.
Yes.
You've got the vampire slave of a werewolf, which is in some lore, like he serves the master.
Yeah.
And we get Evil Eddie as the werewolf there. We've got the minion. We've got some great effects. We got Marcy Darcy.
Yeah. Back before she was Marcy Darcy.
Back when people were like, hey, she's pretty hot. And then she became Marcy Darcy.
Yeah, and it's funny is that I had a lot of people who were like, "Oh, I can't believe that they made Evil Eddie turn into a werewolf," or and blah blah blah, and I'm like, no. At no point was he a werewolf. Remember, vampires in the original lore not only could turn to bats, but they could turn into wolves, and
that's what he was. He was a wolf,
exactly. And so it worked beautifully for that lore. And the funny thing is that's the first time I remember seeing that in a vampire film. So when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh, that's
and they pulled off the practical effects to turn you into that wolf where you get a straight wolf coming at you.
Yep.
I loved it. And then that change back was
heartbreaking.
It's funny because we talk about like the best changes, we've had the discussion of Howling, of American Werewolf in London. You've got the bones cracking the bone. And this doesn't do this. It gives you stages that are definitely different scenes. But you have this scene where he's changing from wolf back to man, and he's reaching out for help. And the guy that killed him is, I probably shouldn't touch the wolf guy.
Yeah, and also you can tell on his face that he's in pain because he liked this kid.
Yeah,
So yeah. Man,
it does. Like there's some powerful moments in this.
Yeah.
For me, watching it again, it holds its campiness that kind of encapsulates the 80s horror. The fun that's there, because you have that moment of, we know he's a werewolf. He knows he's a werewolf. Those people don't know he's a it's one of those movies where it's, he's a vampire. Well, I don't see a vampire, and so it has that campiness, but it really has some horrible moments in it where you're like, wow, it's kind of scary. Like this dude.
It's funny because in most comedy horrors, which it's a comedy horror.
Yeah.
But in most comedy horrors, they lay really deep into the comedy, and the horror is just kind of there to drag it along or to make the horrific scene be funnier.
Yeah.
This movie did just the opposite of that. It leaned into the horror
You
and
get a
brought
chuckle first.
and give you a little bit of comedy along the way. They
Yeah.
could have very easily. There's scenes where, watching it under today's eye, that you could look at it and go, "Oh, he could have cracked a one-liner there." But if
Oh,
you would have,
yeah.
it would have ruined the scene.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that this m- I think that while the special effects were great, and I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because it's practical effects, and what do we like? We
Practical
like
effects.
practical effects.
Yep.
But the character play in this movie, again, Fright Night '85, the character play, everyone, there was no wasted character in the film. All right, all of your main people were good in their role and what they did. And as we're talking here, I actually got to delve it a little bit into like some backstory stuff that I wasn't aware
Yeah.
of. So I'd
Yeah,
love to
same
bring
here.
that into. So
Same
yeah.
here too. Yeah, this movie was great as a kid. Again, I started into horror really early in life, and this was one of those movies that it's scary because there was moments in there that really kind of jumped out at you. The practical effects, the fact that they're wearing contacts that were basically the discs you would see in a 2-liter bottle of soda, and the cap, you pull that little thing out. That was their contact lenses.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
and and a mouthful of teeth, and an accident of, we promised not to show it too much, but we showed it a lot and put it on the cover, the shark face.
Yeah.
It was just, it had those moments as a kid where it was like, this is straight scary, but it's believable. It's the 80s, it was a different time to be a kid in the 80s, where we raised ourselves for a lot because our parents were working most of the time. So it was a different time. So the nostalgia factor for rewatching this is high for me, because it is the golden era of, we started the 80s and ended the 80s just hot for slashers and demons, and they're here and all kinds of craziness. And this was a good one.
I think that this is also a really good gateway horror film, because it does have its moments of levity. It has its moments of horror. It has its moments of horrific gore, but everything is handled with such dignity, if you will, that it's never really off-putting.
Right.
And they always give you just enough of a wink wink nudge nudge
Right.
that it doesn't make it to where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I saw that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, and the director of this film, please, Chris.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Director. Yeah.
I honestly believe that had he made a couple more movies, he'd be in that same conversation as a Wes Craven
This was written well, and I've read on how it was an allegory for the horror of the 80s being AIDS, and I think applying, and he said it himself that that's how it was written out, but the story itself is involving, because you have this person coming into town, kind of taking over. Everybody's charmed except for the one person who knows he's not a good person.
No.
And then you have all of these little pieces that break off of it, with the friend that's bullied, and nobody really listens to him. He's the oddball, and how he can be seduced, and even down to the girlfriend Amy being the possibility of and being seduced by this stranger. It's a great story on how he moves in, and how one man sees it and the rest don't. And of course, you should probably listen to the one guy.
Yeah, and I will tell you right now, the characters involved, from Brewster to Evil Ed to Vincent. God, I love that. I don't know if you knew this or not, but they actually wrote that part in hopes of getting Vincent Price to play that role.
Yeah, and that ended with Peter Vincent being a callback to Peter Cushing and Vincent Price, and all into one, which is phenomenal. It was a good
Very,
move.
very good move.
And ending up with Roddy McDowell playing this kind of somewhat goofy,
Yep.
man playing another man kind of role. It works really well.
He was the dude playing the dude. That's the dude before.
Right, exactly.
Robert Downey was the dude.
It's the whole thing. He plays a guy who plays a guy, and the real guy is broke,
Yeah.
and we talk him in. We go and get the vampire and say, "Hey, listen, we're gonna make you drink some tap water." Our friend thinks you're a vampire and he's crazy, and the vampire's like, "Oh yeah, your friend's crazy."
And I love the fact it was almost like it's gonna be holy water, and you can tell he's like, "Wait a minute, you're gonna make me drink what?" He goes, "Oh no, it's gonna be tap water. We're not."
Yeah.
That scene actually. Okay, so we've jumped ahead. So yeah, you can
It
tell
happens.
this is gonna be one of those nights where we jump around.
Yeah,
That scene when they're in the house for the first time and he finally convinces all these people to come over with him. He thinks they're on his side, that they're going to go try to find out that this guy's a vampire, blah, 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 right? And they're all like, okay, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you're a vampire, right? And wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we're going to prove to him that you're not, right? By having this guy who he believes is a true vampire hunter,
right.
Prove that he's not. And so when he's got the vial in his hand and he's not sure if it's really holy water or not, I'm just sitting there going, this is brilliant.
It's a good moment. It's a moment.
So well done.
Because there's like that moment of like, do I trust the guys that came to me with this silly plan? Because I am a vampire and this will hurt me if if someone said a prayer near it. So.
And I'm gonna have to kill them all if this is what I think it is.
It's a win-win for him. He gets everybody to think Charlie's crazy, or he has a giant smorgasbord of bodies. So that was a good moment.
Chris Sarandon was one of the best vampires ever.
He was good.
He was great in this. I loved the fact that he literally turned the role down until he read the script, and then he was like, "Oh, this is going to be fun."
Right.
And the fact that he was eating fruit through the whole thing, I loved that because I didn't get it at the time. Right. So Tina says that she Charlie's mom is so obvious, oblivious. You're absolutely right, Tina. She was. Tina, I don't know if you realize this or not, but Jerry Dandrige was eating fruit through the whole thing because he didn't want to be the typical vampire. He was a fruit bat, and I thought that was so cool.
Wild. Teach you how to eat an entire apple.
Yes, many times, many
times. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Evil Ed was great. It's funny because I like to listen to other people's opinions on these movies, and I stumbled across this guy today who actually said the same thing that one of my close friends said, was that as much as I loved Evil Ed's character, I was kind of oblivious, or no, he was kind of a how did he put it? He was annoying. He goes, because what friend is going to do all the things that he did? And I never really thought of it that way, right?
Right.
Because he's supposed to be best friends with Charlie, but yet he's going to pick on him. He's going to laugh at him when he gets the food in the face. He's going to do all these things. He's going to, he's basically going to tell him to bug off and all. And then that's where the backstory comes in.
Right.
If you read the novel, which I have not, but if you had, the novelization explains that they were best friends since grade school.
Right. They go way back. And he's feeling left behind because Charlie and Amy are dating, and now he's being pushed off. He's the third wheel, but he doesn't have any other friends. Like, that's his friend.
Because he's picked on by everybody but Charlie and Amanda. The fact that he's now feeling like they're kind of like turning his back on him, which is what. And I'm like, you know what? And if in the remake, right, which in the 2000s,
2000, the 2010s,
explored that a little bit more by
Yeah.
making them both, which so now that I found that out, and I called back to the remake. I was like, oh, that was a nice touch that they put in.
Definitely. And you can see that where, I mean, especially when he's being seduced by the vampire.
Oh yeah.
Like it's basically saying, you're in charge. Like it's that you're not going to be, they'll remember you.
I
So,
love the fact that Jerry, said to him, said, and he called him Edward. I love that. He said,
Mhm.
Edward. He goes, you're never going to be picked on again.
Right.
Don't be afraid of me, please. This is entirely up to you, right? You're not
Right.
going to be picked on again. No one's going to beat you up ever again. All
Ever.
you have to do is take my hand. And they show Evil Ed, and he looks up, and the tears running down his face because I mean, this guy is touched on what his biggest fear is in
Yeah.
life, and so he willingly then basically turns to the dark side.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Evil Ed.
Yeah. Now I am Evil Ed, which I'm going to tell you right now. I would have taken. He hated that nickname up to that point. I would have
Right.
taken it. I'd have been like, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, he didn't like it. And then his character is a wild character when you look at it, because we go into, he's the monster and he's chasing after him, but there's this like weird pain in his character
Oh
up
yeah.
until the part he turns into a wolf, and then when he's coming out of it, there's just pain in this kid's heart and his soul.
And I'm telling you right now that
Portrayed like so. And I heard they were kind of like tortured in the midst of trying to act this out because
Yeah.
of sickness and all of the, no labor laws.
Yeah.
OSHA who?
Oops, huh?
Yeah. So it really comes out in the character really well.
and he actually wanted to he originally auditioned for Charlie's
Mhm.
role.
Right.
The fact that he's like, I can't believe they saw me as this weird character and blah blah, but
Yeah.
man, he just poured himself into it. It's
Great.
fantastic. Such a fantastic
Great.
job. Fantastic. So, was there any parts of this movie that you personally found that kind of grated on you a little bit, or made you sit back and go, "Oh, that was an odd choice." I only had one, and it was minor.
Right. It was just one of these things where watching somebody nail their window closed with hundreds of nails. I could open that with 100 nails. Like, it's not going to take much.
No,
No. I don't know. I think most of my gripes would just bring it more back to the fact that it's an 80s.
Yeah.
It's very dated as far as what's going on, what they're doing.
Don't be calling it dated. That makes me feel bad.
I don't like saying it.
I was a junior in high school when this movie released.
But it does. It holds up. The story holds up. It's fun. It's fun to watch. But it does be like, it's screaming at you. Disco's dying and dead, and we're returning to neons and
Yeah, and in the book, when they're in the dance club, which was a great scene.
Yeah.
In the book, it was they were listening to Thriller and "Hungry Like a Wolf" by Duran Duran,
nice.
which is like, if you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Nice.
Of course, they couldn't afford to buy them for the movie,
No.
But for me, the only thing that ever bothered me through this whole thing was Amanda Bierce, Amy. How her hair went from short brunette
Okay, that's fair.
to long
She became a
beautiful
hot redhead. Yeah.
right? Back to short brunette with no explanation of why.
No way. Got bit by a vampire, hot redhead, killed a main vampire, back to Marcy Darcy.
Back to Marcy Darcy Burnett. That was the only thing, because I was like, it would have been different even maybe if they'd had her be, have that dark.
They built up
really...
to like the insecurity, maybe, because I think that's where the book was kind of taking the character. She was slightly insecure as well. And
yeah, I can see
that. I think that kind of.
I can see that, but I think it would have been more believable had they had her like in the same color hair, right? And then it just happened to just be longer and then shorter or whatever.
She became a redhead.
She became a hot redhead.
Redhead. Yeah.
You always know, the girl's hot when she's also a vampire, and you're still going, "Oh, she's hot."
Yeah. Yeah. Even well, when she got the shark mouth, I don't
That was a
know.
little much.
Kind of, that's I know. No,
Nope.
no, not so attractive anymore. Can we go back to
Oh,
just the fangs?
but I did love the way she played on Charlie's emotions during that scene when
Oh yeah.
he holds the cross up, she turns her back, she's like, and I can't
Don't you
help
want
it,
me?
Charlie. you know,
Right.
you told me you'd never let him get me, Charlie. And then
Yeah.
the idiot drops the cross. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Oh.
And it's funny because they say they rushed to make that shark mouth. It was like a last minute thing. He was like, promise me it's only going to be on screen for a couple seconds because it's a rush job. They put this thing together and they're like, yeah, just a couple seconds. And then they have an extended scene with her running around with this mask. And then they put it on the cover
Oh yeah.
and posters with the mask. So it's one of those like, please don't show anybody too much of this. And they were like, we won't. Everybody look. And you know what? It's wild.
Yeah, we won't.
It's pretty wild.
You know what though?
Rush job or not, it looks so
It looked
good.
great.
So
It
good.
looked great. And I think the reason it looked great is you never got a solid stare at it, right? It was
Mhm.
always in motion. It was always
Yeah.
moving. But man, oh, it was so good.
When she
So-
uncovers her mouth and you see it for the first time, it's one of those.
Oh, exactly.
Hey, oh,
oh, I like that. The shark mouth. And you're right. That's exactly what us. Roddy McDowell, the character that he played in this, it was literally the story arc from beloved horror host, which by the way was a really kind of a smart thing to do by the director, by Tom Holland, not Spider-Man, the other one,
Right.
was that using Peter Vincent as a talk show host, because at that point Elvira was getting really big. I mean, it was a thing that was starting to happen in culture. So to see that in the movie as well, actually, it kind of anchored it a little bit. And I
It
thought that
does.
was a really, again, seeing it as on first release, I thought that was a great touch. Even back then, I was just like, "Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool." you know.
Yep.
But he, as much as I love Vincent Price, and I do, I think I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad he turned this down because I don't know that anyone could have done what Roddy did with that character.
I like what he did with it. He gave it that authenticity of a dude playing another guy. It's just he's goofy and he's broke. So like, yeah, you pay him. Yeah, you could pay me to be a vampire slayer for a fake vampire that's really a real vampire.
Right.
And that, I didn't see him in my mirror.
Which
Shit.
was a great little scene, and the way he freaked out and tried to get out of there. He's like, I'm going,
Yep.
I'm out. See ya.
Oh, we're taking too much of your time. Let's go.
Yeah.
We gotta go. Gotta go. Crap.
What's wrong with you? Nothing. I gotta go. And being the guy who played the guy who was the guy, was the other dude. It was kind of a really touching scene when Charlie finally comes to him. He's like, "Hey, listen, they've got Amy, they've got Evil Ed. They're going to kill them if we don't get there." And he's like, "Hey, listen, I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not that guy.
I'm not him.
That's not even my real name."
No.
And so you could see that he was broken, not only broke monetarily, but his spirit was broken. So yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's that time where it's a time before cell phones and before internet and before things like you only knew stuff because you saw it on TV or at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Or, somebody told you. And, and even then we were like, yeah, who told you? So like it's more believable for a guy to be like, I think he's really a vampire slayer. Like, I think he knows what he's doing. Because that's all you really had, as far as in your face. Now, I could tell you what nationality the vampire is. Give me a second with the Google picture search.
Yeah.
It's all there. So that I think that's the only problem I have with it is the fact that it's a little dated.
Yep. Yep. I will say that Mr. Garcia, please let us know. Is this the first time you've been in with us? Because this is not a name that I recognize. So please let us know if you came in for the first time. I agree with him. There was a ending that they had proposed, which was going to have after everything was done, Roddy McDowall, Peter Vincent was going to be on camera as he was in a dress, Charlie as he did, but then have him turn into a vampire. And I'm glad they didn't do that either, because it really would have ruined the story arc from two really wonderfully written and acted characters for Charlie. Actually, three: Charlie, Amy, and Peter. In my opinion. So yes, I agree with you. I'm so glad. So I believe we have a new guest with us, and as we always do when we have a new guest with us, we like to say welcome to the family, sir, because as we say,
Gabba gabba, we accept you one of us. Gabba gabba, we accept you one of us.
Simply by being here tonight, you are now a member of the Talking Dead. Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to come into our chat at any time. So, and it looks to me like you are definitely a horror fan by some of the movies that you're talking about in the chat room. So I love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I agree. Chris Sarandon, he played some really pivotal roles in some 80s movies.
He did.
So he's a star when it comes to this movie. He played it really well, right down to it. We've been talking about a lot of different scenes. The whole ending sequence to this was fun. It was a wild ride where everybody's on board. Amy's a hot redhead vampire. Evil Ed is dog. Jerry proves really quickly that you have to have faith in order for the cross to work.
Which I thought was a great callback. I love that. Loved it very much.
Good touch. And we're just off to the races on who's going to be able to win this battle, good or evil. And
and at no point did you feel that your main stars were safe. I mean, it literally was any one of them could be taken out at any time. So that it made that whole, and it was a long ending as far as that third act was concerned, and they threw everything at you, including some stuff from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that was and like Indiana Jones with the face melting, leaving the skull left. I mean,
I don't know if you got the Ghostbusters reference or not, but for those of you in the chat room who don't know, the same special effects artist worked on Ghostbusters worked on this, and the bat was too scary for Ghostbusters, so it went into storage.
Got imported.
They brought it back out for this movie. So I was like, that's awesome. When I heard that, I was like, that is awesome. Their loss, our gain.
Absolutely. And this is great because we have the vampire turning from everything he can to get away. We have that touching moment with Ed and Mr. Vincent. The kid doesn't want to go. Great spoiler. Brewster, you're so cool. Is a great touch at the end to just kind of leave it off. So Eddie, awesome character. And we go all the way to the point of, oh no, he's down here and the sunlight, and it's not the sunlight yet. But wait, there's more. And running down to the basement.
Listen, Darren, listen. I'm sick and tired of you telling me that. No, we've been talking about Marcy Darcy all night. Anyway, who you call a chicken? Anyway, God, I love Marcy Darcy.
Wild. And then like I said, the battle goes from, we've got bats, we've got the guy with the chompers, we've got Marcy Darcy with all kinds of different teeth. They play to the end until they finally get and then the turn where we go from everything's happy. I love the fact that we stick a little ending in there
Yes.
to where we killed the vampire, the girl gets turned back because she didn't feed, not a vampire yet, and we're watching Vincent Price on his channel who says, I'm done with horror, here's some alien invasions.
Yeah, which are still bloodsuckers, but they're just they happen to be from Mars. So
Right.
yeah, I agree with you. So here comes the part that's, of our stream tonight that's going to be hard. Ladies and gentlemen, especially for those of you who are new in the chat room, at the end of the night we rate our films, and then we put them on our shit list. And the shit list has nothing to do with our rating. It's more about fun. We say that, but then you look at the list and you're like, well, some of them do, some of them. Anyway, we call it the shit list because why?
Well, shit. No, well, yeah,
We did that.
we did it,
Anyway,
but we stick to it unless there's a
we do.
veto.
Where
We don't have many of them. So
where would you put this movie on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being a wonderful film that transcends the genre, 1 being a miserable dredge that made you angry that you watched it, because let's face it, there are those movies that make us that way. And then yeah, The Witch.
The Witch.
And then there's 5 hits all the marks. Just start right in the middle, hits all the mark. Where would you put Fright Night, 1985?
See, this is funny because this was one of my favorites as a kid. Because it still kind of scared me when I was a kid.
Yep.
And it first came out. So watching it now, it's all nostalgia fun for me because it just has that 80s feel of everything. All those movies that came out at this time, even the funny ones down to like Monster Squad and stuff, it has all of that fun inside here. So I'm going to give this, because it's dated, only because it's dated, a good 7.5 and a must watch. We're pushing 8, but I'm going to stick with the 7.5. Fun movie, lots of nostalgia if you grew up in the time. But that's where a lot of my vote goes to, and that's where my rating goes to.
Yeah, and you're right, because I think, if I had rated this as the first time I'd ever watched it, I'd go, oh God, that's a 9. That's a 9 out of 10 all day long. Looking back on it now and being more realistic, no, I don't think so. But I'm with you. I'm thinking it's more of an 8 for me. Just a little bit higher than yours.
That's fair.
And again, I think that's a lot of that is the nostalgic, because let's face it, when I watched this, I caught myself just sitting there grinning that shit-eating grin,
smiling, man,
and just smiling. And if someone would have walked into the room and said, "What are you smiling about?" I'd have been like, "Shh, but it's the movie," and that's all, and that's where it would have been. So, but here's going to be the really hard part. That's going to be where we put this on our shit list, our sometimes hysterical, intentionally tasteless list of movies. Oh boy, I don't even know where to start on this one.
Where to start? Well, okay.
All right. So again, the rules real quick for those of you who are new. Once the movie's dropped on the list, it stays where it's at. The only way it can be moved is that Chris or I both get a single one time a year card that allows us to move a movie if we feel that it should be moved. Last year I used mine to move Zombievers up the list. Sorry, LG, Sharknado will not be moved this year either. So that being said, Chris, where do you think we should even start looking at this movie?
Well, it's up there when it comes to my rewatchability. I think, besides the fact that it's blaringly neon 80s at some point,
Yes,
or just you can see it's dated, but it's fun. It's a fun story. It's well written, allegory or no.
yes,
it's a well written horror movie. So we're definitely going above Sharknado.
oh yes, yeah.
That's a benchmark here, because it's only at 40 because we love LG.
and he has to live with her, so we kind of make anyway. So I'm thinking myself, this is just me. Let's start here. Would you say that this movie should be above or below Train to Busan?
Ooh,
That's a hard one, man. That's a
ooh, that
hard
is a
call right
hard one.
there.
We had some hardcore movies when we hit that solid middle,
Yeah,
upper
that 20
third,
that 20 and up
top
is kinda
25. That's
yeah,
I don't know. I think we kind of have to put it outside
okay.
Zombievers. But we're up there, man. Hmm.
Here's what I think personally, okay? I think that this movie is better than Mom and Dad.
Okay.
I don't think it's more fun than Train to Busan. Train to Busan has something special going on. So
You
I'm
put it
looking
inside
right
the top 25.
yeah, I'm looking at
All right.
somewhere between Mom and Dad and Zombievers,
All right.
maybe right below Zombievers, but just right in that general
You know
range.
what? I can compromise. I said Zombievers. I'll give you a forward to maybe Before They Live. Because both, I think it sits on the same level with They Live on a must watch.
Yeah,
Especially must watch 80s movies. And when you start hitting favorites, and this is a favorite of mine.
mine
So
too.
I can say, yeah, it's definitely, we can move her above into the top 25.
Okay, let's do that. Let's put. You want to say at 24 or
We could put it in between Mom and Dad and They Live. Yeah. Yeah,
so
right about,
okay. How about right in front of
how about
Invisible?
right in front of Invisible? Yeah.
There you go.
Right
Perfect.
there. That
Right there.
works.
So we are at 23. You know what we're getting ready to do, don't you?
23.
You know,
23.
you know what we're getting ready to do?
Lock it in.
Locking it in.
Lock it in and
Locking
it's there.
it in. So
Better than They Live. All right, we made one of our followers happy.
yeah.
Well, Darren.
Somehow. Somehow.
He was like this. Okay, that works. I didn't see the rest of the list.
All right. And I'm looking here at some of the comments that have been going on through here. Between Shaun of the Dead and Return of the Living Dead, I could see that. Although anyway, early on he had said, and I'm going to put this: Near Dark is literally. If you'd have been here during the beginning, I said this is one the movie that we're watching tonight or talked about tonight was one of three horror movies from the 80s that had to be on the top of your list. They were, of course, Near Dark,
You're dark.
The Lost Boys,
The Lost Boys.
and then
Fright Night.
Fright Night. Not necessarily in that order.
Right.
I love Near Dark. Near Dark is
Good
a
one.
much bleaker look at the vampire life, but as you had said, that bar scene, oh my god, that was so
Very good.
so good.
This was Near Dark was the darker side of vampires. It's
Yes.
this movie kind of romanticizes it a bit with a little of the things that they were doing in it. But yeah, that's definitely a darker movie.
I agree.
Fun.
So definitely would recommend. This is definitely a would recommend. Generally speaking, right now we go to our list, and I'm only going to pull this up because again, we have some newer people and I like to kind of let them know how we do things here. And
How we
and
spin.
I'll just pull this up real quick to kind of show we every week at the end we spin the wheel. The wheel tells us exactly what to watch
wheel
next and
chooses.
share. We leave it up to fate, but
The wheel knows.
the wheel knows. If you have a movie that you want us to put on the list, such as Night Flyer or Near Dark, which Near Dark is on the list, by the way, you let us know that. We put it on the list, and that way we know to pull it up and let it run and let fate decide what we're doing. This week, though, we are skipping the wheel, and the reason that we're skipping the wheel, Chris, would you like to let everyone know what we're doing next week?
We will be joining for Tuesday's Terror Vision on Wrestling with Horror.
Yeah,
our friends over there, Wrestling with Horror, invited us to come back. And what are we talking about, Alan?
We are talking about Dream Warriors. I should have had Doc and queued up there.
Yes.
We are going to be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. Some people say it's the best of the series. Some people don't. We will find out then. And here's the cool part. This is what we're going to try to do. Keep your fingers crossed collectively.
Yeah.
This is going to be a Tuesday night show. We are going to try to simulcast so that we're showing it on our network as well as theirs. That way, our people can come in to where they're used to seeing us just on a different night. Everyone can be chatting, and we invite you all to please join us. Chris, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off tonight?
Before we sign off, I say if you're in the chat right now, LG is usually kind enough to put in a link to our bio link. It's bio.link/graverev, where you can see all of our links. All of our socials are on there. Our emails on there. Merch stores on there. We've got some cool shirts out there for the Thursday Night Frights.
Yes, we do.
Shameless plug there. But you can catch us on any of those. All of those platforms, you can reach out to us. You've got something you want to add to the list, email us. You want to tell us what you thought about the movie, leave a comment down below. We love coming back and reading what you guys have wrote. I try to get on TikTok. It's been crazy, especially this week. Been some crazy times. So I haven't been on it as much, but you can catch us on all of those socials. And reach out to us. We love hearing from you. Join us every Thursday, or in this case, next week being our own like Tuesday Terror, but it's Tuesday Terror Vision with ETEP. Come join us. Yes. Jump in the chat. Be a part of the Talking Dead. We love having you here. Thank you to Castellar for joining us, our first time chatter. Love you. You are part of the Talking Dead. Thank you for joining us. And until we meet next time on a Tuesday, stay spooky.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we love the fact that you're all here. We love sharing our passion of horror films with you. Please, if you get a chance, hit the like button. Hit the sub button if you're not subscribed. Leave us a comment, but most of all, let someone else know. Right? If you know someone who is a fan of horror, or just likes to see two guys who get goofy and have a good time, let them know about our channel. Also, we are now, excuse me, on a weekly basis, we are releasing short stories. I've got a couple in the can to start this week again up. Sunday, I'm going to release one, and I'm told I have a very special story coming my way from a certain Mr. Someone, not saying who it is, the guy who happens to sit next to me every week over here. And so I'm looking forward to that as well. And
Tales from the Grave.
Looking forward to sharing those with you. If you're enjoying them, literally they're 10 to 15 minutes max. Take a listen. Let us know what you think. We appreciate
fun stories.
You.
We think they're kind of spooky. They're fun to do. Got some. Yes, there is some AI assisted stuff.
Oh,
there's also some original stuff. Yeah. We're playing it all because you know what? We like talking about horror. And the written word, or as in this case, the read word, is fun to do. And
it is. It really is.
It's a nice outlet for in a time where you need something to do.
Yeah, and we try our best to keep it short so that it's not something that's cumbersome for you. That way you can hop on and on your car trip to the grocery store and play it while you're going and listen to it and have a good time with it. Just please let us know what you think, because we want to. If people like it, we want to keep doing it. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again this coming week will be Tuesday. Chris and I will see you then. And as we always like to say, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again, may all of your nightmares be groovy. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.